Welcome to Anglesey in northwest Wales. We're standing at the Corkscrew where races can be won and lost, and there's plenty of championships up for grabs here today. Welcome to Aprilia Challenge. Well, welcome to Anglesey then. As you can see, the weather conditions haven't been too kind. A lot of wind and it's started to rain down here in the collecting area with the Aprilia Super Teens that feature in today's show. But first up, down on the grid, ready for race one, it's the Aprilia RRV 450s. Yes, what a season it has been so far for this championship. The Aprilia RRV 450 GP, sponsored by In Competition, of course, Ian Myra Newton and co. George Stanley is on pole position, having a really good end to this season so far. And, well, he's becoming a regular on that podium. Sam Wilford, likewise, number 35, halfway through the season, is on fire. Will Hodgson, well, Will, this year, it's his best season yet in this championship, but they're all trying to catch this man, the JDF Aprilia of Ben Luxton, who enters Anglesey with quite a healthy lead overall in the championship. Quite a lot would have to happen for him not to win this, but if you've seen these races before, you'll know that anything can happen. Ben Luxton had his first fall in the championship just yesterday here, having finished every single race up until then in the top four. So maybe the pressure just getting to him here in Wales. Either way, a couple of point scoring opportunities for him here to extend that series lead. It looks like Will Hodgson's got the whole shot though as they go round the banking. He leads from Sam Wilford, number 35. Sam easy to spot, he's got that lime green trim, and there's a few riders down over at the banking there already. We've lost two riders, it's Will Keynes and Curtis Drew that have gone down, and that's a shame for them. Will Keynes, who's had a lot of work to do during qualifying, you can see them, Will shaking his head, walking away, and Curtis Drew is having a promising Saturday on the KJD Aprilia 450, but it's all gone wrong. Sam Wilford, meanwhile, takes the lead on the DWE Aprilia, but just struggles to get on the power, so Will Hodgson takes advantage. Number 34 there in third is Louis Dawson, and then just a train of 450s following. A few noticeable improvements further down the pack as well this weekend for the likes of reigning Aprilia Super Team champion Zach Cordery. You see there, number 2. Ross Simpson, the rider that he was battling with in the Super Teams last year, number 55. Cameron Lee is going very well also, number 58. He's up in the sharp end of things, so we'll keep an eye on them. There's championship leader Ben Luxton and Cameron Lee. Lewis Rollo there, number 8, ahead of 55 Simpson. Then we see Zach Corderoy, Matt Shillings, then 93 Matt Rangerley. Lewis Rollo slightly off the boil here this weekend. It very much expected him to be a part of the podium fight, and it doesn't look like it's going his way at the moment for the Flying Scotsman there, who's 4th in the championship coming here, but he's just losing a bit of ground. Alex Baker also having an excellent weekend on the BBR roofing Aprilia 450s there, just tucked up behind the lime green trim machine of Sam Wilford, who runs a bit wide into Rocket, and Alex Baker swallows him up and makes it into second place, and that's a big crash there further back as they make their way into Rocket. That could have been really, really nasty. That looks like Matt Shillings, who's gone down, a former Thundersport 500 top 3 man, and wonderful to see him getting up because that's a quick place to be coming off. Lucky Matt there, but he is off and out of the race. Will Hodgson it is that leads here. You can see it's not really wet, but it's a bit damp. Hodgson leads from Baker, Wilford. Number 5 there was the pole man, George Stanley. Will Hodgson, of course, second in the championship, so he'll be delighted that he's got this lead and that Ben Luxton is a bit further back and is dropping points all over the place. Either way, Will would pretty much need to win or finish second in every remaining race and need Ben to finish well outside the top 5 in a few races to have any chance at all of pinching the championship from him. But hey, it's motorbike racing. Stranger things have happened, but Ben Luxton's certainly not up to his usual tricks here so far today. Just there, a bit further back behind this group. Will Hodgson opening up a lovely lead. Alex Baker still in second place, and Sam Wilford again losing out there. George Stanley going from 4th into second place. What a move that was from George.
George really has come on song this season. Such a quiet, relaxed, but quite comical character last year. You just didn't know whether he had that aggression. Well, something's happened in the last few rounds, because he's certainly got it at the moment. Number 5, the rider on the BWSR, Aprilia, just got so much fire in his belly. And he moves into second place ahead of Alex Baker. Now they're going to have to try and hunt down this man, Will Hodgson, number 14 on the Ron Hodgson car specialist, Aprilia 450. There is Stanley in second, Baker third, number 35 there, Sam Wilford on the IDWE Aprilia 450. Sam has been riding so well recently, a rider that in the Aprilia Super Teams you just wouldn't have picked out as someone that was going to go places, but something has changed here, and the gap's certainly changed out front. Will Hodgson's lead has disappeared, and George Stanley is flying through. Hodgson was a good second down there, and George Stanley gets his elbows down again, stuffs it up the inside of Hodgson into Church Corner, and now they're side by side as we go along the school straight and up towards Rocket Inn. We're right by the seaside there, and Will Hodgson will definitely fight back and tries to outbrake George, and does so. That allows Alex Baker into the mix as well, and George Stanley almost touches his front tyre with Will's rear. He's lost another place. Alex Baker now up into second place. So Baker's capitalised from that one. A bit of leg dangling there from Baker into Peel Corner, named after the late great John Peel, believe it or not, down into the corkscrew chicane. That's where I was there for a moment. Louis Dawson's in the mix as well, number 34. But it's Hodgson that has regained his lead from Alex Baker and George Stanley. Then a small gap back to Wilford. Just mentioned Wilford a moment ago. He's actually going to be riding in the last 2 rounds of the European Junior Cup. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on there, of course, in Jerez and Magny-Cours. We wish you all the best, Sam. And there's George Stanley once again, just outbreaking Alex Baker and moving up into second place. You've got to fear that the winner's going to come out of one of these 3 at the moment. Championship leader Ben Luxton further behind this pack as we go on to the school straight there. Number 14, Will Hodgson leading. George Stanley there, identical machinery, just getting in the slipstream as we go uphill. Kink right, still flat out, and George Stanley's going to have a look here. No, not round the outside, that isn't going to work. And well, as they go round, and George Stanley's going to have it going, and it has worked. George Stanley around the outside into Rocket Inn. He goes up into first, and Will Hodgson's been bullied out of second as well. Will trying to fight back as Alex Baker, number 22 there, just holds on to the inside line, and Will is fighting back, and he's now going around the outside into Peel Corner. Oh, these boys love it, don't they, in this 450 class as they go down into the corkscrew. Will Hodgson and Alex Baker touching paint, touching knees. It's still Sam Wilford back there in 4th place. He could do with these guys beating each other up a bit to get involved in the mix. There's Gideon Thomas, number 67, just about to be lapped by these 3. Here goes George Stanley. The last lap flag is out. There is Sam Wilford in 4th place. Just incidentally, we've lost Louis Dawson. Not sure what happened to him, but Louis was up in the top 5 or 6 and he's gone AWOL. So it looks like that's going to help out Ben Luxton, who might just be in for finishing 5th, although he's embroiled in a decent battle with Cameron Lee at the moment. Zach Corduroy 7th, Ross Simpson 8th, Matt Rangeley 9th, and Lewis Rollo in 10th. But who's going to be the winner here? George Stanley, Will Hodgson. Oh, they're side by side. Alex Baker's still there in 3rd place, although he's lost a bit of ground in the early part of this lap. Up towards Rocket Inn we go, and Will's got that inside line. He'll definitely have a look, but he's not close enough this time. George Stanley it is. Well, he's got that part out of the way, and he'll be relieved about that. He's just got to get his head tucked down now and make a decent effort of Peel Corner. Will's definitely not close enough there either. Will is the type of guy that will go for it all down into the corkscrew. You've just got to believe that he will have a look, and he has had a look down in the inside. Will Hodgson, can he make it stick though as they come on the exit there? No, he can't. George Stanley's closed the door, and George Stanley's going to win this one. The checkered flag is out, and George Stanley wins it. And anyone that doubted whether or not George Stanley had a bit of fire in him, well, you can put that one to rest now, because George has taken it a 10th ahead of Will Hodgson. Alex Baker, a deserved podium there in 3rd place. Sam Wilford just missed out in 4th. Championship leader will have to put up with 5th place there ahead of Cameron Lee. And there's your top 3 on the podium.
3rd place in the Aprilia RRV 450 race. Alex Baker, great to have you back on the podium. It was a really good race, that.
No, it's good to be back up here. It's been a while since I've been back up, but no, it was really close at the start, and then just managed to get past a few people, and then managed to follow George up to the back of Will. And battled, had some really close racing, elbow to elbow with Will, and no, a really enjoyable race to be part of.
And anyone to thank at all?
Big thank you to BBR Roofing, Pipeworks, Rock Oil, Thundersport and Bridgestone. Cheers.
Well done to you, and we'll see you in race 2 hopefully. We'll move on to Will Hodgson now in second place. Will, realistically the chances of winning the championship are slim. Obviously Ben Luxton has a big lead, but you've picked up a few points on him here.
Yeah, I'm just racing to try and be on the top step now. I forgot about the championship after a few rounds ago, but I really enjoyed that race. I'd like to thank John for lending me the bike and Curtis Strew and his dad. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been out on circuit. I seen I had a 2-second lead at one point, so I thought, and then we had to take it nice and steady. Big mistake. Next thing, George was all over me. Some really good close battling, and I tried showing him the edge of the track a few times, but no, he just stuck at his guns and beat me to the line. So fair play, really enjoyed it, and well done to Alex as well.
Well done, Will, and we'll see you for race 2.
Yeah, can I just say thanks to, in competition, Jimmy, who went back for an engine for us yesterday, Dave Lewis, my dad, Ron Hodgson Specialist Cars, Nitro Helmets, Colroyd, Silclean, all the Thundersport lot, Gibbo, anyone else I forgot, I'm sorry.
Right, and we'll move on to the race winner now, George Stanley. George, well, you've certainly got some more aggression in this latter part of the season, and once you start getting on the podium, you can't stop. A fantastic win after a lap record yesterday as well.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I was always right on the back of him, but I could never make the moves, and I think really that it was sketchy conditions. We put a new rear tyre on, so coming onto the warm-up lap, my back end came round, and just for the first lap it scared me a little bit, and I was getting passed by a couple, but I thought Will had got away when he got that gap, but I just kept chipping away, got him, and then after that it was just an amazing battle with him and Alex. There's some tough moves, hopefully it's good on the TV.
Oh, it certainly was. Anyone to thank at all, George?
I'd like to thank EBC Brakes, Rock Oil, Pulse Transport Solutions, and my mum, my dad, my sister and all my family for supporting me.
Well done to you, George. Well, join us again after the break. We'll have the Bridgestone Super Twins and Mini Twins. Welcome back to the Aprilia Challenge. We have the Bridgestone Super Twins and Mini Twins coming up now. A championship that is very, very close indeed. Here is Bradley Peary. Yes, he is absolutely crackers. Number 97, former Aprilia Super Team rider from last year, of course, remember. Dave Butler there, the Irishman, not had a million miles to travel for once to get here today. There is 66 Dan Freer, the runner-up in the championship last year, having a bit of a nightmare weekend. Not quite as bad as it was at Rockingham so far. Alex Baker there as well. In the Mini Twins, Dan Taylor leads the championship from Matt Truelove. Matt is riding very well though at the moment. Tim Neve, Tom Neve, they're all out there. Plenty of riders to keep our eyes on in this one. 6 riders can still win this championship. It's all up for grabs, and Tom Neve is on pole position, number 68, as we go down into turn 1. And there is Johan Massey, the Frenchman, that yellow and blue bike, number 85. But it's Tom Neve that's going to get the lead into the banking ahead of Bradley Peary. Just going wide there in the red is number 91, Dave Butler. Then the grey bike with the green leathers is Sam Wilford. That's an Aprilia RRV 450. Alex Baker out there as well. There's Dan Taylor, 26, leader of the Mini Twins Championship so far. We've got Johan Massey, the Frenchman who's gone down. He got rider of the day yesterday. It's not going to happen again for him here. Church is a quick place to come off, and I hope that the Frenchman is okay. He's gone down there into Church Corner, a rider that would definitely feature on the Mini Twins podium normally, but up the front we've had a change already, and Bradley Peary it is that now has this advantage. Where has Tom Neve dropped down to? He's dropped down to 5th place. There's Matt Truelove. Matt Truelove, who started this year, this season, having never really raced before. It's his first full season, and he has just been eating into that championship lead of Dan Taylor's and looks full of confidence. He's coming on as a rider a fair bit. I have to say, he's also riding in the Pre-National 600, a championship you can watch on Thundersport Plus, which you'll also see on Motors TV at some point from Anglesey. There is Truelove up ahead of number 9, Drew Jameson. There's Dan Taylor, leader of the Mini Twins Championship. We've also got Neil Schofield out there running well. Aaron Clifford on the Aprilia 450, former Irish Super Team champion. Tom Neve there just struggling a little up ahead of Matthew Truelove. Matt from Lincoln on that Kawasaki. But it's Alex Baker now, it looks like, who's managed to get the advantage further out front. There is number 15, that's Harry Truelove, brother of Matt, and number 32, Sam Edwards, on the AP Broom Racing machine, the Aprilia 450. There is Bradley Peary, runner-up in the Aprilia 125 Championship just last year, finishing behind Zach Corduroy. If you can cast your mind back 12 months, that was a rather dramatic race here at Anglesey. Bradley Peary and Zach Corduroy, and I believe it ended up with Bradley on the deck that particular season, but he's grown up a bit, although he's still crazy, and he's in second place, number 97. There's Lewis Rollo. Lewis, a former Super Team champion himself a couple of years ago, up into third place, having a good run out here. Unfortunately, it's not been the same story for him in the Aprilia 450 races overall, as you saw in race 1 a moment or two ago, but he'll have another opportunity at that later on. Alex Baker leads this one, and Alex, coming into this weekend, was third overall in the championship. Leading the championship, it is that man there, Sam Wilford. Daniel Freer had a disastrous day, and that's a massive eyesight from Irishman Dave Butler. He's a good character, and he bounces well, and he gets up, and he'll be wondering what's gone on there, and there you see a few Irish obscenities, I'm sure, coming out of the mouth of Dave Butler as he walks away, but nice to see him walking up though. And well, at the end of his race, Alex Baker it is that still leads, Brad Peary and Lewis Rollo. All three of these guys ex-Aprilia Super Teams, as well as Sam Wilford there in 4th place. And don't forget, we've got the Super Teams coming up for you after this race. The 119 there is Aaron Clifford, the Irish rider, former Super Team himself as well. So you can just see that the 450s, the Super Twins, the Mini Twins, very much a great place for you to make the next step. Good run there from number 9, Drew Jameson from Northern Ireland. He's here for a round on the Mototech ATG Racing Kawasaki. Dan Taylor's still in the mix. Matt Truelove still leads the Mini Twins. Tim Need is up there as well, number 4. Don't count out Tim. He's out there on that CF Moto 650. He's on for a podium. And all the while, Matt Truelove just eating into that lead of Dan Taylor's overall. That might just go down to the wire. After Anglesey, of course, just 2 rounds left for Thundersport GB. We'll go to Donington Park and then Mallory, and Bradley Peary has taken the lead there, number 97 out there on that Kawasaki 650, the rider from Kendal with the pink helmet, but Lewis Rollo now fights back. He's come up from 3rd place. So Lewis Rollo and Bradley Peary, 2 riders that will know each other actually from a couple of years ago in the Super Teams. Alex Baker there, just holding on to them in 3rd. Alex has come on leaps and bounds since he made his move onto the 450 a few years back. And that BBR roofing machine. Dan Freer, oh no, Dan Freer there just putting his arm up, allowing number 33 Ollie Brocklesby through. And Freer's, well, terrible 2 weekends continue, and he's losing massive points here as he's going to pull into pit lane. That really will close up this championship overall as we head into Donington Park. Mind you, these guys have got to find out who's going to win. Sam Wilford, by the way, really closing in now in 4th place, championship leader overall, but there's been a change for the lead. There's 3 Aprilia 450s in the mix here, battling with that Kawasaki, and Lewis Rollo it is. Yeah, he's taken the turn to lead up ahead of Peary. Peary with a slightly more powerful machine, bit of debris in the middle of the circuit there, so they'll just have to be a bit careful. That 650 Kawasaki just a bit more top end in it, but he's going to have to try and find a way past Lewis Rollo. The Mini Twins battle, by the way, really, really close. They're all inside the top 8 overall on circuit, but Matt Truelove, Tim Neve and Dan Taylor, there's just 4 or 5 tenths between them. So keep an eye out for those guys. Johan Massey, of course, who you saw go out of the race earlier on, Dave Butler also, and Daniel Freer. There they are, in fact, right on cue. They've got Sam Edwards for company in the mixing it up with them, and Aaron Clifford as well. Dan Taylor there, number 26. Came into this weekend as the championship leader. Well, is he going to extend that lead? We'll find out. Onto the start finish straight we go, and there's a change for the lead as Bradley Peary goes up the inside of Lewis Rollo. Not easy to execute that down into turn 1 here at Anglesey. And Sam Wilford now very much a part of this leading gaggle of riders. He's caught up to the back of Alex Baker there, number 35. And, well, courtesy of a bad day at the office for Dan Free yesterday, Sam Wilford came into today as the championship leader. But as I've said before, this one is wide open and will probably go all the way down to the final round. There's Harry Truelove, number 15, brother of Matt, who had a nasty, nasty accident in testing on Friday here at this circuit, but he's managed to get himself back out there. Peary leads then from Rollo, Baker in third, number 22, and then that IDWE machine, number 35, very well turned out indeed as well, Sam Wilford. Further behind these guys, we've then got Tom Neve, who's having a bit of a lonely race, but he's just a couple of seconds up ahead of that Mini Twins fight, which is here. Tim Neve now leads that one. Tim up ahead of Matt Truelove. Then it's Sam Edwards and Dan Taylor. Dan just trying everything he can to hang on to the back of those guys. 99 going through there is Lee Winters. He's about to be lapped by race leader Bradley Peary. He really has just charged away there. 1:15.1 from Bradley Peary, was a good 8/10 quicker than Lewis Rollo that time around. So Bradley has found some speed from somewhere and pulls away from the former Aprilia Super Teen champion of 2012. Around Church Corner and onto the School Straight. Puts a lap there on Lee Winters. Sam Wilford there has moved up ahead of Alex Baker now, so Wilford up into third place. Baker, another of the riders that's in the mix here for this championship overall. But Peary, who came into this weekend in 6th, he was 100 points down on series leader Daniel Freer. This will do him the world of good if he can hold on to these 25 points up ahead of Lewis Rollo. There is Baker, who's now got back past Sam Wilford again. Around Peel Corner, it opens up downhill into the corkscrew. Peary in control of this race, a rider that has really come on very well indeed, and the checkered flag has come out. Well, he's grown in size and he's grown in confidence as well. It's 25 points for Bradley Peary, and he needed that in the championship. He wins this one from Lewis Rollo. Alex Baker finishes in third ahead of Sam Wilford. Tom Neve, a lonely 5th place, and Matt Truelove finishes in 6th and wins the Mini Twins. Top 3 then, there in the Super Twins then, Bradley Peary, Lewis Rollo and Alex Baker. And in the Mini Twins, Matt Truelove, Tim Neve and Dan Taylor.
Yeah, that race was a bit different, if you like, because we went out and we thought we'd go for slicks, and everyone was on wets apart from like Tom Neve and Dave Butler and Dan and that lot. So when I saw Alex Baker and Lewis come past and they were on wets, I thought, oh brilliant, made a wrong choice, but no, it was alright, and yeah, it was alright.
Anyone to thank at all, Bradley?
Yeah, I got BJ Motortech, Brian Jones, he's come down this weekend with Drew Jameson, CS Tuning, Chaplos, Mark, Hill, Larkin and Susan, they come down to watch me, they're awesome, love. Spears Racing, Torridge Roofing, Replicast, Jackson Motorcycles, Shire Homes, CS Tuning, Plungaffs, Chaplos, Armour Science. Because honestly, I've had to stick that bike up like a billion times this season. Scott Wilson, his paint on my helmet's pretty, yeah, and all that. And just absolutely everyone, I think I've got everyone there. Oh yeah, mum and dad, because I had a crash in practice, and I put 14 holes in my leathers, so my dad had to like fork out on credit card and got me a set of leathers, so yeah, thank you.
Just a few then?
Only just a few, yeah.
Well, join us again after the break and we'll bring you action from race 1 of the Aprilia Super Teens. Welcome back to the Aprilia Challenge and Anglesey. It's time for the Super Teens. Race 1 here. Rory Skinner, number 11, the rider from Perth, has been unstoppable so far this year. A decent championship lead. Ed Best there, number 44, has had a good second half of the season. It's been challenging Rory. Danny Booth there, number 46, newcomer this year, has also been finding himself on the podium. Been a good weekend for number 8 there, KJD Racing's Miles Wasley, Stonehouse. He's threatening to get himself up on that top step. Georgina Polden, of course, look out for Georgina, number 27, just on that second row. You could see 1 or 2 riders going for wets, others going for dries. We've had a bit of rain here for the Super Teens, so slightly awkward conditions, but hey, these youngsters certainly know how to ride these by now, with 3 rounds to go, including this one. Orange vests, indicate that they are novices, complete novices to racing for this season. And Rory Skinner's got off to the best possible start. He enters Anglesey with quite a handsome lead, but he's been playing it down. He doesn't want to jinx himself. In second place there, Ed Best, number 44 with the purple wheels. The rider from Market Harbour on the EBR Motorsport Aprilia. Had an excellent Rockingham, as we see the spots of rain fill the camera lens. And Georgina Polden, of course, second overall in the championship, and she moves up to second in this race as well. What a rider she has turned into this season. She's had Rory's number a few times. She was out of the saddle there, ex-motocrosser, just trying to cope with this slippery tarmac at the moment. Number 55 further back is Jack Scott, a newcomer that we've not seen much of. So Jack's having his first run out, but it's Skinner from Polden and Best and Wasley. Definitely the best round we've seen from Miles Wasley so far this season. Of course, you'll have seen him on the newcomers podium a few times. Tiny pint-sized rider. He's running under the KJD banner now, and having a very good weekend, threatening the overall podium. Dan Drayton just going through his shot there, number 34. He's up behind Freddie Crane though. Freddie, a newcomer, is having an especially decent weekend. There's Shane Faber, who coming into this weekend, number 24 there with the orange wheels. The JDF rider who was leading the Nitro newcomers. But out front, Rory Skinner just starting to come under a bit of pressure here from Georgina Polden. And Georgina knows that if she's got any chance of winning this championship, she needs to be beating Rory. Although when you speak to Georgina, she's just looking at a race at a time. They're not really thinking about it anymore. As far as everyone else is concerned, this is as good as won by Rory Skinner overall as they get up into Rocket Inn. Ed Best is definitely in this mix as well. You can see from the sky the rain is falling harder and harder. Rory Skinner, who's won so many races this season, a few of them out of the seat there. Ed Best with a Union Jack on the side of his helmet, just closing in. Miles Wasley also going well in fourth place, and there's a massive high side there for number 93, Thomas Burnett from Ramsey. He's up and he's walking away. He'll be a little bit frustrated and grumpy with it, and a little bit of a sore backside, I fear. But he'll be okay, I'm sure, to race 2. Luckily, that was one of those high sides that kind of just span away from you rather than spit you up into the air. But, well, you have to get the ice pack on the backside now, I'm afraid, Thomas, and hopefully he'll be back out ready for race 2. It is Skinner that leads this one though still, and there's another faller down there into the final turn, losing the front end. Easy to do here, especially in slippery conditions. Not quite sure who that was. That's 52, so that would be Oliver O'Flaherty that's gone down. We've also lost, blimey, Dan Booth and Edgar Machado both gone missing from this race as well. So maybe one or two riders going for the dry tyres and just giving it a bit too much welly at the moment. But it's Rory Skinner that leads this one from Georgina Polden. She's not giving this one up. She is, of course, second overall in the championship. She's going to try and prevent Rory from winning it here today. If Rory was to win both races and Georgina was to fall in both, then Rory would pretty much have this championship done. But Georgina really has nothing to lose from here. There's number 66. It's Cameron Fraser, newcomer from Nottingham. Just up ahead there of Tristan Finocchiaro, who doesn't mind the weather getting a bit tough here in Anglesey. Your race leaders make their way around Club Corner again. Skinner, who was in the company of Ed Best for most of Rockingham. Those two tussling away. Georgina perhaps not the biggest fan of Rockingham, but certainly they've arrived here at Anglesey, and this is a bit more like it from Georgina, who's had a bit of a whirlwind season really, and now she's got up alongside Rory Skinner, and they're very good friends off circuit. The gloves are firmly off here, ready for this battle, and Rory Skinner closes the door as they go around Church Corner. On these Aprilia Super Team production motorcycles, they'll be flat out round here, make no mistake about that, and there's not a lot of difference in speed between these two machines as they head up towards Rocket. Blind entry into here, you cannot see the turn at all, you just have to tip in and hope. Quite wide though, excellent for overtaking. Rory Skinner it is that just hangs on to the lead, but well, he certainly knows that he's got company now, and here comes Georgina Polden again. She tries to get some decent drive out of Rocket. Into Peel we go, another good overtaking opportunity coming up there as we go down the hill, and then the circuit just opens up. You see a beautiful view from here. Corkscrew, excellent place for overtaking, and certainly on the last lap if you're in second, if you've not done your business by then you pretty much run out of time. Skinner it is that still leads, but he's taking defensive lines now. He knows that Georgina's pretty comfortable. She doesn't mind these conditions at all. She's using that motocross experience, and no, she's going to have a look up the inside, and you have to be really committed to get it to stick through target. But Rory Skinner's just run slightly wide on the exit. Now they go into the banking, and Polden will have to try and get the bike up a bit quicker and get the power on. Of course, these two riding exactly the same motorcycles pretty much, and they're side by side again, and Polden this time gets the advantage. I'm not sure whether Rory Skinner missed a gear or something there, but he lost a bit of momentum. Now onto the back straight we go again, and Skinner can get into the slipstream this time of Georgina Polden. They've both dropped Ed Best, who's back in third place, and now they're side by side again, and Rory Skinner has got the lead back as we head up to the top of the hill, and this is exactly what we wanted to see. The top two in the championship fighting it out for 25 points here at Anglesey. It is Ed Best still in third place, ahead of Cameron Tenzing Jenkins. It's one of his best results of the season. Miles Wasley is still up there leading the newcomers ahead of Cameron Fraser and Freddie Crane. Dan Drayton, Finocchiaro and Jack Reed make up your top 10 at the moment. But who's going to get the victory here? Will it be Skinner or will it be Polden? There is Miles Wasley and Cameron Tenzing Jenkins. So Tenzing Jenkins has just fallen back behind Wasley for the time being, but that's going to go all the way down to the line. There are your leaders. We'll see a lonely Ed Best in a moment. There he is. Just put a lap on Sam Messenger. The last lap flag is out then. You've heard it all in the super teams over the past, famous for creating stars such as Stoner, Crutchlow, etc, etc. Even in the modern era, you look in British Championship these days, in the Superstock 600s, the likes of Andy Reid, Joe Collier, Nick Anderson, Joe Francis, just to name a few, all ex-super teams. It's such a great class to start in. Who is going to be victorious this year? Who's going to be victorious in Anglesey? It's either Polden or Skinner. And Rory Skinner really looked to try and close the door there, but Polden's having none of it as they go around Church Corner. Polden's got a bit to play with here. When I say that, I mean about a 10 as they go down the back straight, uphill now, kink right and then into Rocket Inn. Is Rory Skinner close enough to make a move here? Probably not, although he's going to have a look anyway. He leaves it late to break. They're side by side. Oh, and they almost touch, but he can't quite get it stopped there, so Georgina still has the advantage. Rory Skinner's got 2 places left to do this now. Into Peel, which I don't think he's close enough to do. No, he's always going to have a look anyway. No, he gets his nose chopped off. That might have just made this next corner a bit difficult for him. Further back, Wasley has got himself ahead of Cameron Tenzing Jenkins again. These boys fighting it out for 4th and 5th place. CTJ there on for his best result. Polden's going to win this one ahead of championship leader Rory Skinner. Race 1 goes to Georgina Polden ahead of championship leader Rory Skinner. Great racing there from the top 2 in the championship. Ed Best is 3rd in the championship and 3rd in this race. A really good result there for Tenzing Jenkins, who does get his nose ahead of Wasley. Wasley incidentally winning the Nitro Newcomers ahead of Fraser. There's Polden though. She is the winner outright ahead of Rory Skinner and Ed Best. And in the newcomers, it's Wasley, Fraser and Freddie Crane.
Fair place in the Nitro Newcomers here at Anglesey for the first race. Freddie Crane, always great to have some new faces up on the podium. You must have enjoyed that one.
Yeah, it was really good. I hung in there. We didn't have the correct gearing on, but still really good race, and managed to get 3rd, so really good.
Anyone to thank?
Yes, Alan and Val Cook, CS of Isle of Man, Splinters of Ramsey, my mum, dad, and family, and Andy Broughton for doing a really good job on the bike. Yeah, thanks.
Well done to you. We'll see you for the next one. Now, 2nd place in the Nitro Newcomers, Cameron Fraser. Cameron, what do you think to the conditions out there? Pretty disgusting, but hey, you got a podium.
Yeah, the conditions were alright. I'm not really used to them. But in the warm-up, I felt I needed to pull my weight a bit more in the race, so I did.
And anyone to thank at all?
Yeah, my mum, my dad, RTR Motorcycles, vsip.co.uk, PSP, my grandma, Thundersport, and up in Aprilia.
Well done to you. Now we'll talk to the Nitro Newcomer winner overall, Miles Wasley. Miles, you've had a good weekend so far. You're on the main podium yesterday and another newcomer win here today.
Yeah, it's been a cracking weekend really. I managed to get my first double podium yesterday, which was really good, and yeah, it was a good weekend.
And plenty of people to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Mum and Dad, KJD, Fraser's Motorcycles, John Brash, Replicast Racing, and everyone else for helping me out.
Well done to you, Miles. We'll see you for race 2. Now onto the main podium overall. Ed Best. Ed, likewise, you've had a good couple of rounds. Obviously, Rockingham was spectacular. You got a win here yesterday as well, but conditions slightly different today.
Yeah, we forgot to soften the suspension, so I was sliding around for a few of the corners. Had a big moment up there, and I just lost a toe off them, and they got away. So hopefully we can do something for the next race, but I'd like to be up there fighting with them.
And sponsors to thank?
I'd like to thank Harbour Autos, Spenders Motorcycles, John King for helping us out so much, SimCirrus Technology, Pumpkin Print, and my mum, my dad, and all my family.
Well done to you, Ed. We'll move on now to second place and championship leader overall, Rory Skinner. Rory, you've picked up some very good points here this weekend. Obviously, not been on the top step for every race. You had a win yesterday, but either way, you got one hand on that trophy.
Yeah, still don't really want to jinx myself. Still got another race to go this weekend in Donington. It's next round. Yeah, I had a little off yesterday, so I lost a few points. But I had a really good race with Georgina there. She was really pushing hard, and yeah, I really enjoyed racing.
And well done to you. And anyone to thank at all?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Skinner Motorcycles, Strathern Tyres, Scott's Bearings, Scott Leathers, Motrack Racing, WK Bikes, Bennett's and Neil Hodgson, my mum, dad, Bill and Phil, and everybody else who supports me, and speedy recovery to Davy Wren, Scottish sidecar racer.
Well done to you, Rory. We'll see you for race 2.
Thank you.
Now then, on to the overall race winner, Georgina. Nice to have you back on the top step. Obviously, you're still second in the championship, but this morning you've woken up and a little sprinkling of rain has obviously helped out.
Yeah, the sprinkling of rain did help. Obviously, we did have a lot of movement out there on the bike. It was a bit slippy. The first lap we nearly had an off, but managed to save it. So yeah, just keeping close to Rory, and it was a good race in the end.
All those motocross skills helping out.
Yeah, finally paying it off.
Anyone to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Kingsfield Centre, Nolan Oils, Arc Scaffolding, Pewterline, 151s, Aprilia Fun Sport and Dunlop.
Well done.
Thank you.
3 down, 3 to go. Don't go anywhere, folks. Coming up after the break, it's race 2 for the in-competition Aprilia 450s. Welcome back to Anglesey, and we've got race 2 now for the Aprilia RRV 450, sponsored by In Competition. Championship leader there, Ben Luxton, sticks his thumb up, but well, so far this weekend it hasn't quite gone to plan. Either way, he has a substantial lead in the championship. We just saw thumbs up from Sam Wilford, and there is Will Hodgson, number 14, the man second overall in the championship, with a lot to do if he wants to win it. But either way, one thing we can be sure of, as we see George Stanley on pole position, is that we'll probably be in for another great race. Never short of them in this class. I can't even think back to one that was poor. Here we go then. The 450s, 4 abreast on the grid here in Anglesey, and away from the line we go. Any one of 10 riders could really win this one, and Sam Wilford flies away from the line down into turn 1, known as target here in Anglesey, as Gideon Thomas goes around, and Wilford is the leader overall. We're looking back now from Ben Luxton, the championship leader around the banking, and he's made a mess of that, and he's gone a bit wide and lost a few places. There's Lewis Rollo, Will Keynes, number 8, number 7, and now just alongside him there is Ross Simpson, number 55, and Cameron Lee as we go around Church Corner. Look at the eyes there of Cameron with a clear visor. Superb stuff from the onboard here in the Aprilia 450s, but Ben Luxton has given himself a bit of work to do. It's Will Hodgson, though, that has got his nose once again out front. He really has had a superb season. Up ahead there of Wilford, Louis Dawson, who's had an unlucky weekend. He deserves so much more, but he's been on the deck a few times. He's in third ahead of George Stanley. There's Cameron Lee just behind Ben Luxton. Will Keynes, of course, former Super Team from West Wickham, the NC Racing Aprilia. Down into the corkscrew for the first time. It is Hodgson from Wilford and number 34, Louis Dawson. 4th place at the moment for George Stanley, the pole sitter. Then it is 5th for Baker, then Luxton, then Cameron Lee. Down into turn 1 we go. And Hodgson it is that is where he needs to be championship-wise to just make life a bit harder for Ben Luxton. It's more than likely Luxton will get his hands on that Aprilia 450 trophy at Donington Park, but if Hodgson can keep on applying the pressure, it will go on longer and longer. Very odd in the last few years to have seen runaway championship winners in this class because the races have been so excellent, but consistency is the key. Ben Luxton, of course, yesterday, the first fall that he'd had all season Otherwise, he'd be in the top 4 for every single race, and that makes a massive difference. And there's a difference at the front as well there for Sam Wilford, who has moved up into the lead now, number 35. Number 14 there in second place when he was, but Louis Dawson, number 34 there on the Ducati Wolverhampton Aprilia from Bridgenorth, has gone into second now. So Louis Dawson trying to make up for lost time. He goes into second ahead of Hodgson. George Stanley looking a threat there in fourth place. We've also got there Ben Luxton a lot closer this time than he was in race 1, along with Alex Baker. So I don't think it'll be long before we have a 12-wheel battle for the race win overall. Cameron Lee just in the background is leading the rest of the pack, with Lewis Rollo, Will Keynes, Ross Simpson, Dean Court, Matt Shillings following. Around the banking we go. Race leader still Sam Wilford, number 35, sorry. The IDWE change there as Louis Dawson goes back past Will Hodgson again and moves up into second place. And now here comes George Stanley. Look out for George in fourth. Number 5. Look at the drive that he's got out of Church Corner. He's hanging onto that inside line, but he's just going to have to settle for fourth for now. Will Hodgson attacking and moving up into second place. George Stanley there goes to, oh wow! Now then, that looked a bit awkward. It looked like Ben Luxton had tried to go up the inside. Louis Dawson lost the front, and then George Stanley went into Louis. No one's fault really, just a racing incident. And Louis, I hope he's okay. He looks a little bit hurt there. He's holding his wrist. Both riders are out of this race. It's been a disastrous weekend for Louis Dawson. But that now leaves 4 out front. Will Hodgson, Sam Wilford. Number 22 is Alex Baker. Number 9, championship leader Ben Luxton. He'll be quite relieved to see a couple more riders out of the equation here. Further back in 5th and on for one of his best riders of the year is Cameron Lee. Cameron, number 58 from Colville on the in-competition Aprilia 450. He's not going to be able to catch up with these guys though. Your winner's going to come from one of these 4. Will Hodgson, 2nd overall in the championship. Sam Wilford was 3rd in the championship coming into this weekend. Alex Baker 5th. And then in 4th place in this race is your leader overall, Ben Luxton. If that makes sense, I'm very pleased. Onto the back straight we go, and Alex Baker now from 3rd place is having a look up the inside as we see a few spots of rain on the camera lens. And look at them, they're 4 abreast, and Ben Luxton's got that inside line from 4th place up into 1st for Ben Luxton. Oh, what a move that was from Ben. Every now and again he just shows you moments of brilliance, and that is why he's the championship leader. Normally he's so consistent, keeps himself out of trouble. Well, what a fantastic move that was. He caught the rest napping there into that rocket in section, that left-hander. Down into the corkscrew we go. And Will Hodgson it is that is the man that wants to make the move. As we look further back there, we see Zach Corduroy, Sam Edwards, Aaron Clifford, etc. Race leader though is Will Hodgson from Ben Luxton. They are 1 and 2 in the championship, but Ben Luxton, number 9, is leading it. The JDF rider. Is there a change to 3rd place there into target corner? Not quite, as Sam Wilford with the green and grey leathers there tries to capitalise on a mistake made by Alex Baker. Baker's been looking very good here this weekend. Not quite as good as Will Hodgson though. Will has got the bit between his teeth, the rider that has been on 450s for so long now. He was one of the original development riders for these bikes. Whatever happened in the winter, he's certainly come into this season a changed young man, and he's been having so much fun. And well, this race is looking to be no different as Alex Baker looks to go up the inside there of the championship leader Ben Luxton. And can he make it stick? He can. He just nudges Ben Luxton wide there. He almost runs out of room altogether. So Luxton is forced down to 3rd place. And the spots of rain come down a bit more. Sam Wilford there, just that lovely relaxed riding style that he's got. Definite danger in 4th. It's such a shame to know that there's only 3 spots on the podium here. One of these guys is going to miss out, and it's going to be heartbreaking because any one of these guys really could win this race. It's just about being in the right place at the right time, and at the moment the man in the right place is Will Hodgson, who goes across the line and leads again from Alex Baker, Ben Luxton and Sam Wilford. Was that the last lap flag I think I just saw over on pit wall? So this is it. It's do or die for these guys. Sam Wilford will definitely be making a move from 4th because you're not going to win a race from there at the moment. Will Hodgson has this one in hand so far, but they're all starting to spread out. And here comes Alex Baker. Great move there. Excellent drive out of the banking, and he goes up the inside over at Church Corner. So Alex Baker now leads. He just runs wide on the exit, and that allows everyone else to get into the frame, and Ben Luxton's coming through again, number 9. In 4th place there, Sam Wilford using all of the circuit. They're going to be 4 abreast as they go into the Rocket Inn, and Ben Luxton goes from 3rd to 1st. A wonderful move yet again, but he runs wide, and he falls back down to 4th again. Will Hodgson up the inside of Sam Wilford. Alex Baker there as well. My word, they've all had a go at leading on this lap. Into Peel now. There's only one thing for it. It's going to be do or die down now into the corkscrew, and here comes Alex Baker with some excellent drive. Will Hodgson's fighting with them as well as they tip in. Sam Wilford's there. Oh, and we just lose glimpse of them, and we're going to see them on the exit. They're touching. Oh, they almost wipe each other out. Hodgson goes wide, but he hangs on up the inside. Luxton's also attacking. Across the line we go. You can throw a blanket over all 4 of them. Wilford and Luxton touch. My word, I cannot believe what I'm watching. That is one of the best races you'll ever see from the 450s, and Will Hodgson has got it by the skin of his teeth from Alex Baker. Wilford in 3rd. Poor old Ben Luxton, 2/10 off the winner, and he doesn't even get a trophy. He finishes in 4th place. Cameron Lee in 5th, and 6th place for Lewis Rollo. Fantastic racing from these 3. We'll get to hear from them in a moment. In the championship, well, Luxton still has that advantage, 103 points, but he'll be licking his wounds after that one. Great race from Will Hodgson.
Third place in an epic Aprilia RRV 450 race, Sam Wilford. I suppose it's hard luck not to be on the top step for any one of 4 of you there. What a great race to be involved in.
Yeah, it's still a brilliant race. Led a few laps and then went back to 4th, and then on the last lap it was just mad. So yeah, it was good.
Anyone to thank at all, mate?
Yeah, my mum and dad, Jodie, Ian, Iron Competition, Silkaleen, and everyone who's helped out this weekend.
Well done, Sam. Thank you very much. Move on to 2nd place, Alex Baker. Alex, well, talking of people that have had good weekends, Alex, you certainly have. Talk us through that final lap there, because it looked like you were just about to do anything to try and win that.
No, it was, came onto the final lap and I just got past him going onto the back straight, and I was just hoping I could try and hold it up into there, but no, he came past, and then I thought, right, well, got to have a go somewhere, and he ran wide just before the corkscrew, and I thought, this is a big chance if I'm getting one, so I went for it, but coming into the corkscrew just shut the door on me and proper elbow barging stuff, and it was great fun to be a part of.
Well, it's good to see everyone with smiles on their faces, and a few sponsors to thank as well, Alex.
No, big thanks to BBR Roofing, Pipeworks Exhaust, Rock Oil, of course my dad, In Competition, Bridgestone, and Thundersport GB.
Well done to you, Alex. We'll move on to the race winner, Will Hodgson. Will, we've had you in Thundersport GB since 2008. I reckon you're going to struggle to beat races like that. When you look back, what a fantastic ending to a race there.
I just said to Alex, that's probably one of the best races I've ever had. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. There was 4 or 5 of us having a great scrap, so I'm really lucky just to be on the top step. It was nothing to do with other than luck and being in the right place at the right time, and hope the other guys make a cock of it. But Alex really pushed me to the line. I thought he'd done me, but I really loved it.
Well, thank heavens we've got an ad break here. We'll be back in a moment for the Bridgestone Super Twins and Mini Twins. Welcome back to Anglesey for the Aprilia Challenge. Next up, the Bridgestone Super Twins and Mini Twins. Race 2 for these guys. This man here, Bradley Peary, wet front on. He won the first race. Still a bit damp here, but no standing water. Tom Neve will line up on pole position. Not looking overly happy at the moment, Tom Neve. See a couple of gaps there, 3rd and 4th on the grid. Now then, Dave Butler was 3rd on the grid, but of course he had that big crash and high side over at Church in race 1. Probably not got the bike fixed in time. Dan Freer pulled in. So 2 big figures in this grid missing. That's another opportunity for a lot of other riders. Dan Freer came into this weekend as the championship leader here. He's going to go away empty-handed. Sam Wilford is the championship leader, number 35. You saw him a moment ago, part of that jaw-dropping Aprilia 450 race. If you've missed it, you're a fool! You need to watch it back, of course, and you can watch all of the races back on the Thundersport iPlayer at any time on the Thundersport GB website, don't forget. But this is the Super Twins and Mini Twins. You see there a couple of the Mini Twins going through. Number 26, Dan Taylor. 15, Harry Truelove. Matt Truelove is the one you want to look out for. There he is, 59, up ahead of number 85, Johan Massey. There is 69, a newcomer to the Mini Twins, David Ince, having moved up from the Aprilia Super Teens. He was just up there alongside Giles Day. No relation, but that's not to say I wouldn't like him as a relation. He's a thoroughly nice chap, and there's a crash there, and that is Dan Taylor, and that's a big mistake there for Dan. I'm not sure what's happened. He's not happy at all now. That will cost him dearly. He's not going to get back on that. He's going to have to push it to safety. Dan was leading the championship. He probably still will be, but it'd be mighty close between him and Matt Truelove if Matt gets a decent result here. Tom Neve, it is that has this one so far ahead of Lewis Rollo. That in third place, that looked like Drew Jameson, number 9, and then Sam Wilford. Yes, that is how it is. And then you can see that pink helmet of Bradley Peary just in 5th place. Then behind Peary, we've got Alex Baker, Tim Neve, who leads the Mini Twins, and then Matt Truelove. So all of the right men are in the right places at the moment, looking to capitalise. Oh no, and Tim Neve, just as we say that, he runs wide out of church. He's going to do, I'll tell you what, he did very well to hang on to that. My word, a round of applause to Tim Neve. That could have gone horribly wrong as he made his way back onto the circuit. He managed to maintain the speed and rejoin. So Tim Neve got a bit of work to do there in the Mini Twins. He was leading ahead of Matt Truelove, but he's just fallen back a bit. There's Alex Baker on that Aprilia 450. What a race he's just been a part of a moment ago. He's up behind Bradley Peary and Sam Wilford. No Will Hodgson in this class, of course. This championship, you're eligible on a 450 to enter. It doesn't mean you have to. So a lot of the 450 riders don't bother. Will Hodgson's got plenty of experience. Tends to save himself for those Aprilia 450 races. This is a good battle so far. Out front, Drew Jameson, perhaps the one name that you may not be familiar with there, number 9. He's come over especially for this race in Anglesey from Lisburn in Northern Ireland on the Mototech ATG Racing Kawasaki. But out front, it is Tom Neve, number 68, fighting with Lewis Rollo. Not the first time we've seen these two battle away. On circuit, they're very, very close together. Off circuit, they look almost identical as they go down the back straight there, and have really made a mess of Church Corner there, Tom Neve, and that has allowed Lewis Rollo to go out front. Lewis Rollo really is a rider to look out for in this championship overall. He's been closing down over the last few rounds, and he's got himself so close now to Daniel Freer in the championship. Tom Neve, of course, another rider that could have a say. Sam Wilford led it after last night. Brad Peary, another. Alex Baker also. This is going to go all the way down to Mallory Park as we go around Peel Corner. And oh my word, that is a massive smash going down into the corkscrew, and that's Neve and Rollo, is it? That is Neve and Rollo have both gone down, and they both look a bit hurt there. Not sure what's happened. We just saw the back end of that. Well, that means that Sam Wilford has inherited the race lead, the championship leader overall, ahead of Brad Peary. Well, I was just talking about Rollo and Neve's prospects in the championship, and that's just all been kissed goodbye. That looks like a nasty accident. Hopefully both riders are okay. They were up, but they looked like they were in a bit of pain. So they're out of this race. That will cost them dearly. Sam Wilford it is that leads from Brad Peary now. Drew Jameson is in 3rd place. Number 22 there, Alex Baker in 4th. To keep you updated on the Mini Twins, Matt Truelove leads that. Tim Neve, having gone grass tracking earlier on, is making excellent progress and has got past Neil Schofield. And Neil Schofield at the moment is on for a podium. There'll be a few in the paddock that will be cheering that one on. Neil's up ahead of Johan Massey, Ollie Brocklesby and David Ince for the Mini Twins fight at the moment. There's Brad Peary, Drew Jameson, Alex Baker, 2nd, 3rd and 4th behind Sam Wilford. So after that incident out front, Wilford it is that leads and will extend his championship lead. There is Matt Truelove, number 59, who could pretty much cruise round now due to Tim's accident earlier on. Further back, there is number 19, Neil Schofield, just mentioned him a moment ago. There will be tears of joy if he can bring that home and get that podium. Last lap flag is out there in the Super Twins and Mini Twins, sponsored by Bridgestone. Sam Wilford here is home and dry. He'll be very happy indeed with that. Bradley Peary's going to pick up another solid bunch of points, 20 for him. Drew Jameson 3rd. They've just put a lap there on number 78, Giles Day, residing in the Isle of Man for Blackstone Racing Suzuki. There is Tim Neve. So he has made very good progress, and he is up into 2nd place in the mini-twins now, ahead of Neil Schofield. But all eyes on Sam Wilford coming into this weekend. He was second in the championship, just 3 points behind Daniel Freer. He will leave here with a handy little lead as we go to Donington Park next in Derbyshire. There's 4 races for them there, and then another 4 at Mallory, the season finale. And Wilford just cruising home now. Second place, still Bradley Peary, the rider from Kendal. Oh no, he was second, but he's not anymore. Drew Jameson, the rider from Northern Ireland, has now gone up into second place. So 4 precious points being lost there for Bradley. Will he just wave the white flag and settle for third? It looks like he will. He took a massive look over his shoulder there. So you can just see Lewis Rollo there kneeling down. So he looks like he's okay from that injury. He's a bit frustrated though. But across the line to take the win and 25 points extending his lead. The checkered flag goes to Sam Wilford. He'll be making his way over to Jerez very shortly for the European Junior Cup and Magny Cours. And he'll take some confidence with him with a win there and extending his championship lead. Drew Jameson finishes in second, Peary third, Baker fourth. Matt Truelove wins the mini-twins, finishing 5th overall. And Sam Edwards, a very good 6th place there. Tim Neve, by the way, was second in the mini-twins. There's the top 3 overall. Wilford, Jameson, Peary, mini-twins, Matt Truelove, Tim Neve, and Neil Schofield with an excellent podium there. Onto the championship then. Sam Wilford it is that leads. He has a 37-point advantage over Daniel Freer, but it really is all up for grabs. Baker, Rollo, Peary and Tom Neve could all still have a say in that from now until Mallory. And in the mini-twins, Dan Taylor's huge lead has all but gone. Matthew Truelove really is the man on the move in second place, with Lee Wainwright in third.
Winner of the Super Twins race here, Sam Wilford. Sam, it's been a pretty good weekend for you in this class overall. You're the new championship leader as well.
Yeah, really good weekend. In that race, I just saw Lewis and Tom crash. I hope they're both okay. And I saw my pit board, the gap was increasing. So I was just trying to stay on and just take the win.
Did you expect to see yourself at the top of the championship by this stage of the weekend?
No, not really. I don't know. Dan Freer didn't do the last race, and I think we've got a bit of a lead now. Just see how it goes.
Anyone to thank at all?
Yeah, my mum and dad, Jodie, Iron Competition, Seal Colleen, Dave for doing loads of work on the bike, Ian, just everyone who's helped out this weekend.
Well done.
Right, cheers.
Winner of the mini-twins here at Anglesey. It's a clean sweep for you here this weekend, and you are right back in the championship hunt.
I am now, yeah. Dan came off, unfortunately. I hope he's all right, but yeah, that's put me right back in it. Can't wait to get to the next round now and hopefully take the lead. But I was a bit nervous at the end of that because I knew all I had to do was finish. I see Dan had come off. Tim had a massive moment, and I had loads of space, so all I had to do was finish, and that was just worse for me because I was just like, where do I go? But
everything just seems to be clicking together for you at the moment. Obviously, you're doing well in the pre-national 600s as well.
Yeah, both bikes are going really well. I'm just, as the year goes on, I'm not really, this is the first year, so I'm getting better and better, and I'm loving each round. So hopefully I can keep improving and get a couple more wins on the pre-national as well.
Anyone to thank at all?
Mum and Dad again, Adam Marshall for helping me out, and Race Products always do well with the fairings. I crash a lot, so I've got to have a few fairings. And my dog died, so to Jimmy that one.
Don't go away, folks. Coming up after the break, the last race of the show, the Aprilia Super Teens, up next. The Aprilia Super Teens are on the grid, ready for the last race of this show on the Aprilia Challenge. Now, I can tell you that there is some rain coming over. You can just feel it in the air. It's a wet race has been declared, so it's your choice. Do you go for the standard, they're not slicks, but they're cut slicks, road tyres on these Aprilias, or do you go for wets and take a gamble? Looking down on the grid, I can tell you the vast majority of riders have gone for the dries, but it's definitely going to rain. It's just a matter of how much. There's a wet on the rear of Miles Wasley's machine. Let's have a look. A few more dries around there than there are wets. So 1 or 2 taking gambles. They will need it to rain a bit for all the track temperature to really come down. Wasley on the front row, the only one on the front row with full wets, and we go away from the line down into turn 1 here in the Aprilia Super Teens, and it's Rory Skinner that is going to get the whole shot, the championship leader, who has gone out there on dries, and there's a rider down there rolling away, barrel rolling away, and another rider takes him out as well. and that could have been really nasty. There's another couple gone down, and that's Georgina Polden and Danny Booth. They've both gone down over at the headband, so you can just see here these conditions are very, very tricky. It's incredibly slippery out there. Miles Wastley it is that leads, the rider that went for the full wets, remember. He's got himself out ahead there of Rory Skinner. So that's 4 or 5 riders that we've lost already. All of them are up and okay. Now that's 52 and 71. That's Oliver O'Flaherty and Freddie Crane. Danny Booth there just being helped by Georgina Polden. How very sporting. There's Miles Wastley though that leads this race into Rocket out now. Just touching the front row, and he's lost the rear end. He's gone for the full wets. He was slightly wide. It must be really, really slippery out there. Wastley's gone down. He's hurt his hand there, the KJD racing rider. Oh, what an opportunity missed that is for young Miles, who was looking good there. And he's just going to get a hand off CZ Top, who's going to help pick the bike up and walk it off. But Rory Skinner it is, meanwhile, that leads this one. Dan Drayton is up into second place. Then it's Ed Best and Tristan Finocchiaro. And then number 66, Cameron Fraser. Don't know what was being signalled there by number 58, Tristan Finocchiaro, but there's been a change for the lead, and it's Dan Drayton that leads, and Dan Drayton, let me just tell you, has gone for full wet, and so that might just be the move to make. It's a bit of a gamble when the weather's sort of half and half as to know what to do. Rory Skinner, the championship leader's gone for dries, Dan Drayton's gone for wets, but we just saw Miles Wastley go down on wet, so who knows what the best choice is at the moment. Either way, Dan Drayton, who got his first ever outright podium back at Rockingham last round, is currently leading this race. The Parc Ferme will go absolutely bonkers if it stays that way, let me tell you. Further back here, a few newcomers. Sam Messenger behind Matt Bauer, Jack Scott, Thomas Burnett. CTJ is up there, a number of riders going down on that first lap. There is the leader though, number 34 from Scunthorpe, Dan Drayton. On that Aprilia ahead of championship leader Rory Skinner. Then it's Ed Best. Rory by now must know that Georgina Polden's gone down, and Ed Best is up the inside into Peel. Ed's also gone for dries as well, so obviously just feeling a bit more confident. There is Tristan Finocchiaro. This is as high up as we've seen Tristan, so good news for him as well. Daniel Drayton meanwhile checking out. He's growing every single round that we see him, but this is an excellent opportunity for him out there on wets because the rain is coming down harder, and despite the fact that wets might not have necessarily looked like the right choice at the start, I can tell you that right now it is the best option for any of these riders. Ed Best is in second, Rory Skinner third. Now Rory will be able to see Georgina parked up over here at the banking, and so he'll know that if he just picks up any sort of points or anywhere near that podium, he's got a very, very good chance of getting his hands on the Aprilia Super Team crown when we go to Donington Park next. Huge, huge lead already for Daniel Drayton. Ed Best there in second. He will actually inherit third place overall in the championship after this round. He's will move ahead of Joe Thompson. But Tristan Finocchiaro there, number 58. Sixth in the championship, kind of gone under the radar a little this year. He's doing well. Rory Skinner's taken back second place now, so Rory means business. He's back up into second, almost getting the knee on the deck there. You can see the rain coming down, and they're out there on those tyres. They are Dunlop treaded tyres. They are road tyres, let me tell you. And back in the day, when I used to race Super Teams, you didn't even get the option of wet. So, well, you know, they're going to have to wobble around, and I can tell you it gets pretty slippery out there on those tyres, but they can clear a little bit of water from time to time. There is number 88 having a great ride, that's Jack Reed, and then number 73 is Cameron Tenzing Jenkins. Cameron Fraser, another of the Camerons, is going well as well. Bit of a wipe of the visor there from Dan Drayton. But he's got a huge lead. I wonder if he knows how big his lead is at the moment. Massive, massive improvements further back as we see Skinner, Best and Finocchiaro in second, third and fourth. George Anderson, who's not been on the Nitro Newcomer podium before, in full name, George Filippo Anderson. So I'm not sure if he's got a bit of Italian in the blood there, but he's from Evesham. Maybe he's got a bit of mafioso in him as well. We've got Freddie Crane out there who sounds like he's in the mafia as well. So anyway, we'll stop mucking about now. George Anderson's having a great ride. He's up in the top 8. He's on for his first ever Nitro Newcomer podium. Another newcomer this weekend, Keelan Irwin, number 69. Keelan from the Republic of Ireland, out there in his first ever meeting. He's on for a top 10 finish also. So these conditions are going to favour a few and not others. At the moment though, very smooth, calm and collected. This man here, Dan Drayton, looking pretty good in the wet, and he's got a lead now that is in excess of about 8 seconds. This fight for second place, it would be so great to see Tristan Finocchiaro make it onto the overall podium. He deserves it. Him and his family been in this paddock now for a couple of seasons. There's Shane Faber leading the newcomer race, and that's nice to see. Shane struggled over the last couple of rounds. He is the Nitro Newcomer Championship leader, but he has just run into a bit of trouble, so this weather will be helping him out. Across the line we go, and again, rubbing the visor there, Dan Drayton. And there's just 1 lap to go now for him. Well, what a moment this is. I tell you, as I mentioned before, it's a gamble to go for wets when it's not quite raining, but the feeling that you get of satisfaction going out there and the rain starting to come down will be mind-blowing. Not quite as mind-blowing, however, as it will be for his parents, friends and family if Dan Drayton does get across that line and win, because there was a roar like nothing else when he got his first podium at Rockingham. And now he's on for this win. Rory Skinner at the moment there, number 11, is on for second place. And he's doing what champions do, and he's picking up as many points as possible. Ed Best there at the moment in third, number 44, and Tristan Finocchiaro in fourth. That would be his best ever finish, young Tristan, who's got, obviously, as you can probably tell from the name, plenty of Italian blood in him. And the rain really is coming down now as the leader comes around Rocket, Daniel Drayton. I can tell you there's a bit of traffic to deal with here in the closing stages, so nice and easy does it here, Dan. But he could be taking his first ever winner's trophy back to Scunthorpe with him as they make their way around Peel and then down into the corkscrew. There's Shane Faber, currently 5th place overall. He'll win the Nitro Newcomers, the JDF rider, with a decent result here. He has a look over his shoulder, treacherous conditions. And fair play to some of the riders that are still going around and doing well on the dry tyres. There is 78, just about to be lapped, Matt Bauer, and here is your race winner. It is the first ever race win for Dan Drayton, and what a moment that is for him. One not to forget. Family are going absolutely bonkers on pit wall. Who's going to get second place? It's going to be Rory Skinner, that will do his championship a lot of favours indeed. Second place at 20 points for him. Ed Best is third. Tristan Finocchiaro, fair play to him for getting his best ever finish in fourth. Shane Faber wins the newcomers, finishing 5th, and then it's Cameron Fraser in 6th. George Anderson was in 7th, so George does get his first ever podium. There's the top 3 overall though. Dan Drayton very happy indeed ahead of Skinner and Ed Best. In the newcomers it's Shane Faber that takes the win ahead of Cameron Fraser and George Anderson. Now then, the points going into Donington. Good size lead that for Rory Skinner. He can wrap things up at Donington when we head there next. Holden in 2nd. Best moves up into 3rd now ahead of Thompson. Dan Drayton with that win moves up into 5th place. In the Nitro Newcomers, Shane Faber it is that still leads from Dan Booth, Miles Wasley, TJ Toms, Cameron Fraser and Jack Reed.
3rd place in the Nitro Newcomers. It's always great to see some new faces here on the podium. George Anderson, that looked a bit hectic out there, but hey, you got a trophy out of it.
Yeah, it was mental, you know. I went out on slicks, a last minute decision. Don't know if it was right or not, but it seemed to do the trick for me.
How have you enjoyed your weekend?
Yeah, it's been a good weekend. You know, the weather's been a bit iffy, like changing tyres every 10 minutes, but apart from that, it's been good, yeah.
Anyone to thank at all?
Yeah, I'd like to thank GM Roofing, Evesham Trade Centre, Evesham Electrical Services, Arden Motorcycles, Round the Grass, BTH, Tucker's 24-hour criminal lawyers, Max Webb's Images and Motrack Racing.
Cameron, on the podium again. You've had a good weekend here at Anglesey.
Yeah, the weather conditions out there were just terrible. And when Shane came past, I thought, oh, I've got to go. I realised he had wets on and thought 2nd is safe, so just kept it.
Shane, you've had a bit of a topsy-turvy time in the last few races, but back to the top step again now.
Yeah, I managed just to get the back wet in. So we had full wets on and chose the right decision. So the last 2 rounds I haven't really been doing my best, but I've got my confidence back now and back to winning.
Yes, well, it's certainly going to be close in the championship. Anyone to thank at all?
Yeah, I'd like big thanks to John Davis for his hard work this weekend. It's been tough in the last 2 rounds. Links Cafe, Ash Honda, Jordan Faber Building Contractors, Tim Jones for doing all the bike preparation, and Dunlop Vineyard brilliant fun sport.
Okay, we move on to the main podium now, and third place overall, Ed Best. You chose the wrong tyres there, but you had a decent battle with Rory.
Yeah, chose the wrong tyre, so I was on slicks with Rory, and I was just losing everything, every corner. It was just going. I don't even know how I stayed on. Great battles with Rory and Tristan and everyone else. Well done to Dan for getting his first win and everything.
Rory, wow, what a hectic race that was. Again, just like Ed, went for the wrong tyre choice there, but you survived. You're on the podium at the end of it.
Yeah, well, before the race, I think everybody thought it was going to be dry. Daniel must have like a time machine or something, know it was going to be wet. But yeah, it was just all over the place. The front was sliding, the back was sliding. It was just a hard race, but I had good battles with Ed.
Now, first ever race win. Rory just mentioned there you needed a time machine to guess what the weather was going to do, but hey, you picked the right tyres and you blitzed it.
Yeah, it looked like it was the right decision in the end. We went out, the first lap was a bit hairy. Georgina and Dan Booth came off in the first corner, and then in the last half, in the first lap, Miles happened to come off, but he clipped the white line and then managed to get past Rory and just keep it consistent, stay smooth and battle through it.
You looked like you couldn't believe it when you came in.
No, I was a bit shell-shocked. I thought Rory was going to be on my backside, but no, I managed to just pull away and chose the right tyres, so I just stayed away from white lines.
Well, it's a great result and you're a very popular winner. I know you've got a lot of family, friends and sponsors to thank.
Yeah, but I'd like to dedicate this one to Crow Trees, Alec from Crow Trees, who's made all my levers. I'd say one of the best lever makers, and I'd like to dedicate it to him because he's sadly passed away recently. And I'd like to thank Phil Wilding, Dave Jackson from the Bike Insurer, coming down this weekend to see how I was getting on, and obviously my mum, dad, Dunlop, Fun Sport, and the Aprilia Super Teens. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for joining us. There's been some great racing here from Anglesey and still 2 rounds to go. Up next for us, it's Donington Park. Be sure to tune in.